if there's a way to check. I always got to do the sound check, guys. Good day to all. Hopefully everything is going well, as I know they are, because how else are they not? We're here doing a sip and smoke. Let me see if I got some sound before I continue espousing any more crappage. My TV is not working correctly. I look like shit. I needed another haircut. Getting all fat, but look at what I got here. Look what I got. This Crux Epicure. Just got this from the cigar shop from Norwood Park Cigars here in Chicago. The owner was smoking it, tasting it. It's a new product that they got out there. So it's the Crux Epicure, right? That's it right there. Let me see. And I'm sipping with the Chug 45. Chugs 45. Hey, the only person in here, can you confirm if I got sound? Can you hear me, guys? Da. I got one visitor, somebody that's there. Now there's no one. But yeah, 1 second here. Let's see if I could confirm that I got any sound. Let me look on something else here. Summer is here, fellas. Fantastic summer. Hopefully yours is going to be good, as I anticipate mine being fantastic as well. Just came back from Costa Rica on a little surf trip. The new board was fantastic.
Mine being
fantastic as well. I am getting some sound. I do got sound. Awesome, folks. Love it. Loving every minute of it. Loving it. And I loved every minute in Costa Rica. Lots of fun. Spent lots of money, but it was very enjoyable, well worthwhile. Take a lot of money with you. Actually, you could do it cheap. Backed watch check today, guys. This is my Dunhill. In fact, let me do it over here. My Dunhill watch. Beautiful old dial. Look at that. It's a more than just a date. It has the month, moon phase, and calendar. It's a quartz watch. Only, I believe, a 36 millimeter dial. Very thin profile. 14 karat gold accents. I've had this cigar for over 20. I mean, this watch now for over 20 years. So it is pretty much considered vintage, and it definitely has that vintage look. There's that nice D for the Dunhill there. Again, take a look and see if we can get that a better picture of that dial. Yeah, that's the Dunhill. Nice timepiece, excellent traditional watch, very light on the wrist. Very happy with it. Let me pop out the chat over here, guys. No one's in the chat right now, unfortunately. It's all good. All right, well, I won't be able to... Yeah, we go, boom. Chugs 45. Let me try to chug this. I could do it. I could do it if I wanted to. Even if it's booze, but I don't want to. It's a little iced tea. No iced tea there. In honor of Chugs 45. Honestly, don't know a lot. I got two people in the chat. Say hello, folks in the chat. Please say hello. Bo Jackson, you're a good man. Cheers, about better. Thank you, Bo. I appreciate that. We're having, things. Life is good, man. Life's good, Bo. It's got when Bo knows. Bo knows life's good. You got to have some cigars, have some libations. Sit out here listening to the. There was a cardinal around here a moment ago, and then he disappeared. Hey, Bo Jackson, you know who that Chugs 45 is? Is this big African-American man, and he fucking chugs like these giant boots of all kinds of drinks, sodas, all kinds of stuff, man. The guy's going to die young, but he's definitely enjoying himself. So I don't know a lot about this cigar. I believe all he did tell me was that it's a boutique cigar. It's made in Nicaragua. It's a Habano leaf cigar, right? Simple packaging. It's a boutique cigar. Somebody makes them in Nicaragua. I wonder which factory produces this cigar for Crux and what lot of tobacco that they acquired. but the leaf looks fantastic. I mean, it's a nice dark, cinnamony, rich, near chocolate, but more that spice, allspice sort of look to it. It feels nice and oily on my hand. I think this is going to be a pretty decent smoke, but we're going to cut it up and test it out. Again, I can't hold this thing, but I'll do it. Boom. Does that work? Does that get it back to the other picture or no? What does that do for the picture, folks? I don't think so. I got to stand it up. Yeah, that sucks. That blows. That blows. I don't know what's up with the camera settings and whatnot with all this stuff here. What an event last week. While we all picked Vittori wrong, and there were some other picks that I bet well, but I was confident in Vittori, and of course we were all confident in Sarukian, but that number to get to Sarukian was a little ridiculous, right? Like, his finish line, which he finally did finish the guy, but his finish line was, I believe, minus 300. I played Sarukian actually by the sub, like I played Pat Sabatini by the sub, to no avail. So it wasn't a good move on my part or a good pick, but I didn't gamble very much, so that's okay, right? Like I haven't been smashing or hitting too many bets, so it's it's been okay. I've been mitigating. Come on, you piece of junk. Where are we at here? I've been minimizing my wins and losses, right? Like, everything's been good. I had that trip to Costa Rica, so I didn't want to spend a fortune or risk a fortune and losing the ability for me to travel, because there was definitely we spent a lot of money. It was a little more expensive than we thought. Let me know, like and subscribe, people. Thanks for coming on in. I really don't understand the layout of my little phone here, but yet we surge on. We do this. As I mentioned, always, really, remember, like I showed you that cap ring? You see the little cap there? Might be hard to see on this one, but you don't have to take very much off of any cigar. You could almost just fit it in there just like this pretty easily. Like, it'll get to, if you have a cigar cutter like this, it'll get to where it wants to be in terms of cutting the cap off, and just a little slight cut there, and there's the cap. There's the cap right there. You see that? There's the cap. Little piece. Yeah, a little cinnamony. Has that nice Habano characteristic, very Cuban-like. I think the sweetness is a little bit more from this iced tea. I think it's going to complement it rather well. I didn't have a beer today. I do got beers, but I decided to just have this iced tea. Like the rapper, iced tea. Iced tea. Remember, I'm not putting it directly in the flame, guys. Just above it. And we're just toasting the circular end here. Just toasting her. How are you guys' bets? Did anybody win some big money? I know Joey got slammed by Archuela sub, that actually not counting as a submission. I think he had it at plus 1,300. That was a real smart play. It's a shame that it didn't hit. And he hit Ladd last week for that sub too. That was a smart play. When you see some of those lines where someone does have like a jiu-jitsu background or strong wrestling background, and they may not have very many submissions in the UFC, so therefore they're giving them like a big number on like that submission. And I wonder if for this, we're gonna have a very good matchup this coming week between Brendan Allen and the other jiu-jitsu specialist. So it's in silver. We have to look quickly. That might be an interesting one. I mean, you know, you can't underestimate Brendan Allen's jiu-jitsu, whether it's the club and sub. He's got better wrestling than this guy does. So he is the favorite, but, you know, taking a look at that sub line, if they offer you a big number, you sort of have to jump at either one of them for that sub. If they offer you a big number like plus 1,300, plus 1,500, I get it. If it's somebody that that's like Uriah Hall, plus 2,100, don't bet that sub. He's not going to do it. But some of these other fighters that have like a strong wrestling and or jiu-jitsu background, like Aspen Ladd, she has a strong wrestling background. She can wrestle. She's just a late starter, so her submission line was like plus 1,300, and Joey hit it. You know, you take a risk, throw $20 at it, and you're going to come out happy, right? He hit it for her a little harder, which was smart. Very risky, but when they offer you that premium line, that real meaty line on something that you know is highly probable and highly likely, but more probable than not, you know, that's what real gambling is. You jump on that. You know, it's easy to pick favorites and things like that, but real gambling is when you throw out that $50 on something that has that big plus number on that big plus money. And we do that sometimes. I don't always throw out those bets to you guys here. We have hit some of those. I haven't hit a plus 1,300 prop bet ever. I mean, that would be like a top play for me. I think we had Fisco at plus 900 or plus 990 at one point. That hit just on the money line, but that wasn't a prop bet. And then I've gotten parlays that have gotten me to that plus 1,300 number, or if not even higher, but not a prop bet at that number. I mean, plus 1,300 for a submission prop is pretty darn good. Yeah, right off the gate, not a lot of strong notes on the nose, which is not bad. I'd rather it be inoffensive than offensive in any way. It just seems rather soft, but that's okay. It's got a little soft earth smell to it. Very soft. Hopefully it smokes very mellow. As I mentioned initially, it had like a little bit of that allspice, little cinnamony, not super strong, but subtle and with a little sweetness, which again, I think it was more of the tea. Very nice. Maybe they got it a little too hot right there. Yes, it has that little spice. I like it. Nice earth tone with that little spice. Very subtle but rich. But still rich. Very rich in flavor. Yeah, a little cinnamon, a little spice there. Not the salt. I mean, not the mildest of cigars. I would rank it as a more of a full body, full range of smoke. Beautiful wrapper. Beautiful color on the wrapper. Very rich. Nice. Yeah, that iced tea complements it really well. You know, guys, like you know, you could drink what you want with a cigar. I honestly don't care if you're having a Diet Pepsi or a Coca-Cola. Well, I think juice goes really well with cigars, like a nice little orange juice. I think this tea or having tea, period, can go well with a cigar. Coffee and cigars are a natural pair. Coffee and cigars are just a no-brainer. They seem to complement each other rather well. I used to love having a cigar and coffee in the morning. Still do. We're here in the afternoon, so there's no coffee. We're doing a little tea. Um, but coffee goes rather well. Beer, obviously, from previous episodes of Sip and Smoke that you've been on, and of course this is Sip and Smoke, where we talk a little bit about MMA, talk about cigars, talk about life, but primarily just enjoy our cigars and our libations here. We still are a gambling channel. We're throwing some bets out there, guys. But like, comment, subscribe, share it. I don't get very many shares, but we're gonna keep moving forward. It's a lot of fun here. Enjoying my time, just passing the day away, like looking at the trees here, listening to the birds, just relaxing. And hopefully not annoying my neighbors too much with my cigar and uh, lemonade talk. Chug 45, chugs, chugs, chugs. Here's the chugs. Yesterday I had a fantastic Habano. It was an Espinosa. Really good cigar is Espinosa. I bought an Aniversario, 10-year-old Aniversario for 15. This guy's is in the premium range. This is an $18 cigar. I don't know if it deserves that price point. It is a boutique cigar, which to me, when they say boutique, that means that it's a newer cigar manufacturer, not necessarily manufacturer, a newer cigar producer, or not even producer. They basically, I think they're purchasing this tobacco from one of the larger farms, some farm in Nicaragua. They purchased their allotment. They purchased a certain amount of it, a certain area that already is cured, and created this brand with that, right? So this could be from Espinosa. It could be from one of the larger cigar farms in Nicaragua, and they've just purchased the rights or purchased the access to a certain amount of tobacco to launch this brand. That's not to say that it's horrible tobacco. It could be some of the better stuff. It could be some of the worst stuff. It looks fabulous. The wrapper has a beautiful sheen to it, great uniformity, nice oil, really a high quality cigar. And this, unfortunately for us, as we're talking about cigars, I try to keep everything in a reasonable range. This is in the $18 range, so it's not an inexpensive cigar. This is $18. So I think they have like less production. So because they have less availability of their product, they're charging a premium for it. That finish is really nice. It has this very soft spice to it. Very soft, but it's very flavorful, very rich. I like this cigar a lot. Out the gate, I'm going to give this a 7, 8, and probably going to increase. But it's a 7, 8, close to that 8 point range. Yeah, not for the beginner. This has a very diverse palette set or a flavor set. The notes are a little different. It has more of a the flavor is more impactful on the finish. On the start, it's actually just very mellow and it's almost creamy like. The center has that earth tone, but with like peat, like it has a sort of peat taste to it. So it's a little like not quite sour, but peaty, where it's like tints the tongue a little bit. And then with a little that peat combines with like that little cinnamon finish, and it's rather smooth, sort of cinnamony sort of taste. Very subtle, nothing too strong. Now the aromas are really nice, great earthy aromatics. Another bout that I'm very interested in this next card coming up is let's go back to the bout that I really that I'm interested in with It had to be on this card. Did they put him at the top? David Onama, I wonder if he's going to come through. Well, yeah, Brendan Allen versus Bruno Silva. Man, I mean, Allen is a decent favorite in this one, right? Did I get to there? No, I didn't get to find it. Oh, it's still looking for it. But yeah, Brendan Allen and Bruno Silva. I mean, Bruno Silva is that sub or bust guy, and he needs to get the sub early because he gasses. And Allen just came off subbing, a master himself, the other submission specialist. So this is going to be very interesting what Allen decides to do. I think he's going to keep it on the feet for as long as possible, try to wear Bruno Silva down, and then go for that wrestling and attempt that submission. I think that Brendan Allen's going to win this outright, either by a decision, or he could submit him, or he could actually get a TKO. I think if it's going to happen, it's going to happen after late round 2 or round 3 for Brendan Allen. I think he's going to be able to keep away from Bruno Silva on the feet. Bruno Silva's wrestling isn't going to be all there. I mean, Bruno Allen seems to land more strikes per minute, but he's really not that good of a striker. Allen's got better striking accuracy. He's not a fantastic striker either, but his takedowns, he averages more takedowns. He's got much better accuracy. Bruno Silva has only 18% takedown accuracy compared to Brendan Allen's 47%. And takedown defense, Bruno Silva's 71% compared to Allen's 55%. And I think that's because Allen doesn't mind going for that, being taken down or going to the ground, where he could, he averages close to 2 submissions, per 1.6 submission average per fight. So he's not submission or bust, where I think Silva is. Allen submitted Muniz last time out, but he did it because he wore him out, and then he used his wrestling and just tired Muniz and got Muniz in a very unfavorable position. So I'm looking at this being Brendan Allen all day, and I think it could be any way. Right? It could be a decision or a finish. It could be, it could be a TKO. I think if it does happen in terms of a finish, it's going to be late. So I would look at that, what those numbers might be. I might sprinkle something on the submission line or just the finish line, and then what the finish would be rounds like 2 and 3 or round 3, like just a little sprinkle on those particular plays. Well, I was thinking it's the wrong Bruno Silva. This is the other Bruno Silva. I know which Bruno Silva this is now. My bad, guys. I think that this is Allen's. Allen's got to definitely take this to the floor. Bruno Silva's a bad dude. He's a big guy. He's got lots of power. He's a very strong man. Allen's going to have to take this to the ground. He does not want to stand and trade with this Bruno Silva. It's no way. It's a big mistake. So I would look at Allen for the submission, late round 2 or 3. He's going to have to tire Silva down too. He's going to have to wear this guy down as well. He's going to also have to survive that first round storm, because Bruno Silva, round 1 is extremely dangerous. That's where he has all of his TKOs, or most of his TKOs are in round 1. So he could get it late. You got Andrew Sanchez late, where Andrew Sanchez was dominating him with the wrestling initially. Sanchez was doing well to Bruno Silva, and then Sanchez wasn't able to avoid the strikes, because Bruno Silva could be dangerous on the feet. Sorry, I thought it was a different Silva, guys. Bruno Silva could be dangerous on the feet at any point in the fight. So Allen's got to be smart, man. And I know he's one of those guys, he's fallen a little love with his hands. The guy's got to stop doing that. The guy has got to use his fight IQ, he's equal in stature to Bruno Silva. Bruno Silva's a big man, and he's going to have to take him down. He's going to have to wrestle him, hold him down, look for that submission. And I still think that Brendan Allen, and I think he's a favorite, but only a slight favorite. It's Allen submission or Bruno Silva TKO. If Allen is not smart, he's going to get caught So he's got to avoid the pressure that Bruno Silva is going to bring. And I really favor, but I still favor Brendan Allen because he has a decent fight IQ. Doesn't always look, I wouldn't say decent. I think he goes in there with a smart game plan, goes to the wrestling right away, goes to that clinch game, tries to avoid as many strikes as possible. And if he doesn't get a submission right away, then at least he's wearing down on Bruno Silva, wearing that cardio down, and then getting that submission, just through his opportunity, because Bruno Silva will expose himself, will make a mistake, and allow himself to get submitted. So, but I'm on Brendan Allen on that one by submission late round 2 or round 3. The other fight that I was particularly interested in was this bout between Amanda Ribas and Maycee Barber. I really think that Maycee Barber, as a dog, is really live here. I think she has the wrestling upside, and I know that Amanda Ribas has a good jiu-jitsu game, but Maycee Barber is very opportunistic with her wrestling. She averages more takedowns. Actually, she doesn't. Ribas has more takedowns, but I think, in just all practicality, that her MMA wrestling is better than Amanda Ribas. But Amanda Ribas has some great takedown defense at 88%, right? And it has submissions in her game. Maycee Barber got lucky that last fight out against Andrea Lee. They sort of gave her that match. She's on a big win streak, 1, 2, 3, 4 fight win streak, whereas Ribas is going winning 2 out of the last 4, but facing far better competition in Rodriguez, Jandaroba, Chirkegi, and Vivian Arahu. So Ribas has to be the upside here, but I wonder if Maycee Barber is worth that dog money. She's not quite a big dog. I think she was only like plus 160 at this time. I would hope if she would increase as a dog, it might be worthwhile. Getting much better. It's a soft peat, very rich cigar. Slight hint of cinnamon, as I mentioned before. Fantastic earth tone. Nice aromatic. Very nice cigar, guys. We're in the 8 zone here on this cigar. We're at an 8. 8 and possibly could get a little better. Really nice. Love its texture. Love the oils. Burning fabulously. So it's really well rolled. I like that when the smoke is still coming out through this area. Really well rolled cigar. Expert rolled this cigar. So I'm leaning on Ribas, but I might chase Barber just because of that dog number if it increases. But I think that fight could actually go to a decision, and because it goes to a decision, when it is a decision, in a women's match, I almost have to go dog, right? But I think Ribas outclasses her on the feet and or on the ground, but the X factor is if Maycee Barber can actually wrestle, and how good is her wrestling? How effective can her wrestling be? Yeah, the Costa Ticos. Ticos, Jizz. Ticos. They're called Ticos. We can't let you. You're married. You can't go to Costa Rica. Although it is like Vegas, what happens in Costa Rica stays in Costa Rica, but you'll get in trouble there, Israel. When are you going to bring that Omega watch over? When does the Seamaster show up to Casa Lopez? I want to put on the Seamaster. Israel has a beautiful Seamaster. His wife, he's a lucky man. His wife that's when you know you have a good wife, when your wife gifts you beautiful watches. You have somebody special that's actually thinking about you, or something else is going on. But no, No, he's not. That's a nice watch. I want to check it out. Take a look at the color and the dial and everything else. You have to bring it by sometime. We'll have a cigar and do sip and smoke. We could talk about the fights. You could be a guest on here. Another fight that I'm really curious about, before we get to the main, or eventually we will get to the main, is this fight with David Onama and Gabriel Santos. Onama, man, he's just of recently become very inconsistent, but the guy has got some power in his hands. He really is such a physical talent. He's long. He's long. He's got really good strength. He gassed last time, big time. I don't know if he had an adrenaline dump. He was part of the Krause camp, James Krause camp. So it's interesting how these guys that train with James Krause, how their careers are going to go forth with all the difficulties of being in there. Oh, it was the 25th anniversary. Wow. Yeah, or was it the 20th? I don't think it was or was it the watch the 25th anniversary, or was your 25th anniversary? But yeah, the Seamaster is a beautiful watch. I hope you got the nice box that comes with it. Was there an enameled box that almost looks like the same box that the Patek Philippe's come in? It's a very nice, beautiful enameled box that the Seamaster comes in as well. Make sure you keep that thing, all the papers, and try not to scratch even the box. Because the box is like, for some of these watches, even the Omega Seamaster, the boxes are probably like $500 to $1,000. You know what I mean? A Rolex box is like $500. Those, so it is an enamel. Yeah, the Patek Philippe boxes are like humidors. They're beautiful. Like they have that beautiful brown mahogany type wood on it that's enamel, and then it has that beautiful silver embossing of Patek Philippe. And I think Omega basically copied Patek Philippe with the character and the quality of the box. I mean, just a fabulous box. And of course, the watch is a classic. I mean, if you're not going to buy a Patek, a Rolex, or even in everyone's collection, I would like to have an Omega. I had the opportunity to have an Omega Seamaster a long time ago. I did have one, I'm sorry, and I sold it, which was really dumb. But I sold it for a little bit more than what I paid for it. I just needed the money at the time, and I didn't really care about luxury things. Biggest mistake I made in my life. I paid just over $1,000 for that watch, and it was a deal. It was a steal when I bought it. And the same watch that I sold for like $1,500, like over 20 years ago, I sold it. Sold it the same year I bought it. Way over. It was in fact longer than 20 years ago. And I think that same watch now is worth over $10,000. In fact, a little bit more, because it was an earlier model. It was a late 70s model. So it was very valuable. Like that one actually appreciated a ton. So one of the biggest financial mistakes I've ever made in my life, other than cashing out my 401k early a long time ago, that was the second biggest financial mistake I've ever made. But you learn expensive lessons to learn. Don't cash out your 401k, guys. You're going to get penalized in your taxes. Unless there's a better way of doing it, and even taking a loan out like I did to pay off your debt, or to purchase a home or a condo or even a car, whatever you want to do. You don't have to cash in that money. Really stupid to do. So once you establish your 401k, keep your money there. Just forget about it. Right? Hope for the best. Hope that the market does well. Hope that like 10 years from now, when you're able to take it out tax free, there's something there for you that you've accumulated enough for it. So going back to Onama, I like Onama. I think physically he's really good. Lots of talent. He could do it on the floor. He's great strength. I don't know if he's a head case or what the deal is there with his head, but he's fighting this guy, Gabriel Santos, that does get hit, right? He's coming off a loss, right, against Lerone Murphy. So it was a decision loss. Santos only, threw 69 strikes. He had some takedowns there. And he could it's possible that if Santos uses his wrestling, that's something that Onama struggles with. He's a good hammer when it comes to the grappling and the striking, but not a good nail. Like, if you could get him down like Landwehr did, Landwehr took him down 3 times. It made 2 sub-attempts and controlled him for over a round, for over 5 minutes. So that's the key to beating Onama, is taking him down. I think Landwehr, if I recall right, in that fight was hitting him on the feet as well. I think Onama just he had that adrenaline dump. He's a young guy. I like him physically. I would say if Onama's a dog at dog money, I have to jump on David Onama just because of the physical attributes. If he could put it together, fight a little bit more intelligently, stay defensively aware both on the takedowns and and the wrestling and even the striking, and if he could implement some grappling, if he gets on the top, he's great on top position. He's great from the back. He's like I said, he's good when he's on top. He's not good when he's being controlled, but he's not very good at escaping. But if he gets on top of you, he definitely has that opportunity to submit you. He's got a good submission game and a good top game, but it doesn't fight very well off his back and doesn't escape very well off his back. But I might have to take if I could find that Lerone Murphy. I'm sorry, the David Onama money at plus money against Gabriel Santos. I might have to jump on that, but right now it is a pass like most of this card for myself. Another interesting matchup that I think I saw that Neil Magny is like a minus 200 favorite, and I just can't do that right now with him. But I think he has Phil Rowe's number any way he wants it. I think Neil Magny, in fact, I might look at him getting a submission against Phil Rowe. Phil Rowe is good on the feet, but Neil Magny matches him in height and stature. This guy, two guys that really are mirror images of themselves. But Magny just has a very good fight IQ. Like, I really think that Magny could stay away from that power punch. I think that's really Phil Rowe's winning method is KO or nothing, whereas Magny could fight this out on points and just control him as much as possible. I mean, he lost his, he was submitted by Gilbert Burns, but that was a Burns that, Magny's wrestling is not, his defense is not so good. And Burns went in there with a fantastic game plan. So I would look for, possibly Magny, trying to do the same thing he did to D-Rod, wearing him down, staying, competitive in the first couple rounds, and then late round 2, round 3, implement that grappling heavy more of approach and trying to get that submission, right? I mean, he doesn't have to worry about wrestling. I mean, he was submitted by Shavkat Rakhmonov. He was submitted a long time ago by our boy. What was that loss? A big loss. He's got something by Damian Maia, right? And after that loss to Damian Maia, he went and trained with Damian Maia to really get better at his submission game. He got submitted by Rafael Dos Anjos, and he got KO'd by Ponzinibbio. And that could happen again. If he's not careful, he could get knocked out. But he's more susceptible to the grappling, and Rowe doesn't have that. So I think that Neil Magny, is live here for a submission of his own. Or Rowe knocks him out early, round 1, early round 2. But I think I'm leaning towards Neil Magny taking this one, although the line number, I don't think he's a parlay piece because he's too inconsistent. He's got the experience. So I would avoid that particular bout. Look at the prop it out, either Phil Rowe with that TKO, and I'm going to look at Magny at that submission line. But it's got to be something meaty enough on both ends for me to try to chase either one. But that's going to be a very interesting bout. Just like this bout between Wellington Thurman and Randy Brown. I'm thinking Randy Brown here. I mean, even though he lost to Jack Magdalena, Brown, he's got really long body. I think he could hold himself up, submission-wise with Wellington Thurman. But I think if he's smart, he takes the striking approach, Randy Brown, keeps this on his feet, uses his length and his reach. He has a 6-inch reach advantage and a 3-inch height advantage. So that means his legs are just so much larger. And Wellington Thurman's wrestling is not fantastic, right? He does average 2 takedowns per fight, and he's only got a 21% takedown accuracy. Whereas Rude Boy Randy Brown has a 71% takedown accuracy, and I think that's what's going to be his primary advantage. And then being able to keep us on the feet, utilizing his striking. He doesn't have to go to the ground, but I think he could match Brown on the jiu-jitsu side. Well, I mean Wellington Thurman. Wellington Thurman doesn't have good wrestling. He's going to be willing to keep us on the feet for a while. He's more of an opportunistic jiu-jitsu guy. He's better when he's got you from when you expose your back. So all Randy Brown has to do is keep this on the feet. And I think he pieces up Wellington Thurman, maybe even TKOs him. Randy Brown's got some TKO ability, right? I like his jiu-jitsu game. His body lock is ridiculously good. But he's got a submission there. Another submission against Alves, a KO TKO against Brian Barberena. And I think he could do that again here. I think he gets the TKO. Here. He keeps us on the feet, and he TKOs Wellington Thurman round. It could be early, right? I think Wellington Thurman is just too hittable, right? He absorbs, let's see, if strikes absorb per minute. Yeah, they both absorb a lot. They're about 4. Randy Brown's 3, and Thurman's like 4 strikes. But Brown is much more active, almost five strikes per minute. Where Wellington Thurman is 3. So I think this is Randy Brown's fight to lose. He could do it either way. I think he's gonna get a TKO or possibly even just a decision. But I think he gets the TKO. He's gonna have to stay off the ground, even though he's pretty good on the ground himself. He doesn't want to go there, Wellington Thurman, because if he makes a mistake, gives up his back, he's the one that's going to be submitted. Again, Thurman's jiu-jitsu is more. I think he has more of a top game. He's better at the top game in his jiu-jitsu. It's really good, though, his jiu-jitsu. But he's going to be willing to keep this on the feet. And I think that favors Randy Brown. So I look at Brown right there. Another great bout here. I mean, I've been riding Jillian Robinson for a while. And this is going to be a tough one with Tabitha Ricci, because Tabitha Ricci has better wrestling. And I believe her submission defense might be better as well. Ricci has better wrestling. She could take this to the floor. She's not going to be afraid of Jillian Robinson or going down to the floor with Jillian Robinson, but that might be to her detriment. I would have to argue, because you just look at the record in the UFC. Jillian Robinson has more submission. She's submission or bust, right? It's all her wins. Sub, unanimous decision, sub. She got a TKO, sub. Yeah, she has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 fights. The Savage by submission, right? I've been betting Jillian Robinson on the money line and the submission, and she's been paying for me. She paid for me over there when we were in not Oklahoma City, Kansas City. She paid for me. She was a big money maker for me. I was very happy with it. I got to ride her. I wouldn't mind. I love her skin. I mentioned that too. But I think she either gets beaten up, the muscle shark beats her up on the ground, like just if she doesn't get the submission, because Jillian Robinson's got to be able to get a favorable position as well. And Tabitha Ricci, I think, has the better grappling, going to be the stronger fighter. And Robertson's, it has better striking. And Robertson, but I think Robertson can get a hold of her. Opportunistic here. I think Ricci's going to fall into the game. She's going to be willing to go to the ground, and that's going to create opportunities for Jillian Robinson. I saw the Robinson was like a plus 150 yesterday. After I'm done here, that might be the first bet I make is Robinson on the money line at that plus 150. Hopefully it's there. It probably has dropped. It's not there any longer. And then I'll look at the submission line and take a look at that tomorrow as it posted. But I'm going to favor Jillian Robinson, even though she's a dog. I'm taking that dog money. I'm taking her as a dog because she's got great fight IQ. And I think Ricci's going to just make herself available to that submission. She's going to be willing to go to the ground with her, and that's going to provide Robertson with the opportunity to get that sub. Otherwise, look for Ricci to either TKO Jillian Robinson, because I think she has the output to do it, and or just her to win outright by decision. But another fight that I think should have just been an even money sort of line. looking at the rest of this card, there really isn't anything that interests me other than those fights. I don't know how I'm going to use them. Right, Austin Lane versus Justin Taffa. I'm not betting Austin Lane at all. I mean, Justin Taffa is not fantastic, but Austin Lane is. If it's the Austin Lane I'm thinking about, or no, it was Austin Lingo. He's got a win against Jacoby Porter. Taffa's not that good, man. But neither is this guy Lane. I mean, he beat Porter, Hunsaker. He just he lost to Jared Vandera, right? Like, he lost to Carlos Felipe. Like, this is a low level. Lost to Costa, right? Like, this is by TKO, this is a very low level fight where I can't bank on Austin Lane at all. I mean, his first fight, coming out of Contender Series, all I could hope for is maybe chasing dog money here if Austin Lane is like a big dog. Otherwise, if he's not like 4-1 dog, 5-1 dog, I'm not going to bother with it. Maybe the TKO prop, since these both are heavyweights, like heavyweights, Top is not deadly with his strikes. He's a big enough guy. Not a fan of either of these fighters, especially Justin Taffa. I don't think he's that good. I don't think he's on par with even the mid-level, mid-tier heavyweights. So if you could get Austin Lane at some decent plus money, might be worth the chase, but it's more of a fade on Taffa than it is a favoring on Lane, who's coming in for his first fight as a heavyweight, Dana White Contender Series. But at least I think this is going to be in it's in Jacksonville, Florida, so it's not going to be, so that's going to affect these young guys. I love that soft, peaty taste. Like that little slight cinnamony texture. Man, it's really nice. It goes well with this tea. This is a very nice cigar. Very aromatic. I love the aromatics on it. Strong oils, very nice oil. It's lathering my tongue. High quality. That means a high quality wrapper. And so that's probably why to determine the price point is to launch their brand. These guys probably secured some tobacco that was very premium. They went to the farmers and were like, wait, we're starting this brand. I don't want to get your crap. Don't give me that shit that is over there. They assessed it. They looked at it. And they're like, okay, we want this lot. We want this lot. We want this lot. That's what we'll take for now. But that's what we're going to launch our brand with. Hopefully in time that it isn't a bait and switch and they can always have access to this level of tobacco, because this wrapper is beautiful. Beautiful sheen on it. Nice textured oils. Again, this little slight peatiness, slight cinnamon, very, very slight allspice, very rich and aromatic. Really nice cigar. Yeah, the Epicure. That's little slight spice, really nice. But yeah, this card, other than those this isn't a bad card at all, guys. I'd have to go back. I mean, I do know, Zugala Zumagulov, tough guy. I mean, he's coming off of 3 straight losses, though. I mean, is he being like fed to this Joshua Van? Coming, fight night, brand new fighter, the Fearless. I'd have to go and look to try to find where his stats are. He's already had 1 loss. And Zumagulov can win very dirty here. But this seems like a setup for Joshua Van. I go look before I make any bet, and I bet hit Joshua Van being a newcomer, that this is an opportunity that he's gotten from Dana White. And so I'd have to go look at his film, which I haven't done. But Zumagulov is one tough guy. I mean, he is as tough as they come. Decision. Yes, he was. Manel Kopp knocked him out round 1, but he got a submission against Jerome Rivera lost another decision and another decision. The guy's just tough. You don't submit him. Yes, he did have that one KO. Cop knocked him out, but the guy is a tough guy. But I think this is more of an opportunity for Joshua Van here. Someone do the research. Send me a link of I'll look at some of his fights, but let me know what your opinion is on this Joshua Van, because I think the matchmakers are putting him there for a reason. So he's debuting. He's got to have some upside, or else they're not going to put him against a guy like Zumagulov, who is a beast. He's a tough. He's hands full for any fighter out there. He's not the best, but the guy is playing the gatekeeper role, and he's a tough gatekeeper. A really tough fight for anyone in there. So that's another fight to watch. Trevor Peak and Chepe Mariscal. What is that? Another newcomer. Chepe. Yeah, another newcomer. Chepe Mariscal. Yeah, this I'd have to find. Not a good record there for Chepe, like 13-6. I don't know if he's coming in on short notice. Trevor Peak coming off 2 wins. 2 KO victory against Eric Gonzalez. Another KO of Malik Lewis. Nothing really impressive there. If the Trevor Peak KO line is something that is meaty, maybe a chase, but I stay away. I try to stay away from these low-level MMA fights, especially where we have a newcomer that I don't have any research on. I haven't did the background on him, so I'm going to pass on these fights. I tend to bet on the fights where I know both the fighters rather well, like that Amanda Ribas, Macy Barber fight, the Baby Shark versus Jillian Robinson. I'm familiar with both fighters and their skill sets. Same with Rowe and Phil Rowe and Neil Magny. I'm familiar with both these fighters, well versed in them and their skill sets. Same can be said of Brendan Allen with Bruno Silva. I'm very familiar with each of their skill sets. These fighters, seen them fight a lot. Those are the fights that I tend to have better insight. It's not speculating at that point. It's prospecting. It's really doing an assessment there of what is going to be best for me. But I already have that knowledge base that allows me to make an informed decision on what it is I'm going to bet my money on. But, so those are the fights that I'm going to go for, right? Like, I think that Zumagulov and Jan, I definitely want to learn a little bit more of this Jan guy. I want to learn a little bit more about Chepe, but I can't go with Chepe. How can you be introduced to have your first fight in the UFC and you're a 500 fighter? Like, you shouldn't even be in the UFC. It makes no sense unless he his last few fights were all wins and he won a championship, like in not PFL but one of the other small local circuit fights, right? Like, he's a champion out of them. He managed to string some wins together and recover. And those losses were early in his career. I could understand that, but coming in with a mediocre record and not being like at the apex and being in a big show, it's gonna fuck with your head. And I think, like Trevor Peak, it's all him to win there. Jamal Emmers and Jack Jenkins. Let's see. Another fight I want to stay away from. Like, Jenkins only has 2 fights, 2 wins in the UFC. One in the Contender Series, and then the other one in the UFC is a decision win, where he really didn't have a ton of output. He was the one that initiated the takedowns here, Jack Jenkins. Was actually outstruck. And Jenkins had the control time, but he was outstruck by his opponent in that particular match. Because he got reversed 2 times. The other guy, Don Shanis actually had the 6 minutes of control. It was probably a ugly fight. I'd have to go and look at that fight again. But again, it's something that unless I see a meaty number on the prop, I'm going to avoid utilizing those guys, or if I see something maybe in my tape research, which I haven't done yet, I'll do it at work, or I'll do it in the next day or two, do a little bit more research on these. But we're just having a discussion, people. Chugs. Yeah, going to the main event, man, both these guys, I mean, Topuria is ultra confident. And one thing about Topuria, his confidence, man, did he destroy Mitchell. But in that win against Herbert, that first round, he was rocked. He is hittable. And guess what? Josh Emmett has that one-hitter quitter. He can finish him, right? He could, if he lands clean against Topuria, and Topuria will let him get that clean hit. And Josh Emmett could take it. He could take it and give it, right? Like, mainly a decision guy, but he's got some KO power. He knocked out Johnson. He knocked out Bektik. He knocked out Ricardo Lamas, and the rest of his victories have been a decision. He's never been. It was submitted last fight, right? Which more of a club and sub. I think that Emmett just did not look right in that particular fight. He was tired. He was getting countered to the maximum, and that's against Yair. That was for an interim championship. This is Topuria's #1 contender bout. I mean, are we overselling Topuria? I don't think so. I mean, Topuria, very impressive. Even in that Herbert fight, he came back. He tried Herbert, Ryan Hall, knocked Ryan Hall out, knocked out Damon Jackson, Zalal, right? He went with a decision with Zalal. That was a great fight. Destroyed Bryce Mitchell, submitted him, but was eating him up on the feet as well. If Topuria, the problem with Topuria I see is not the best fight IQ. If he comes in willing to brawl with Josh Emmett, he's going to have problems. He's got to have to come in there more technical. He's going to have the slight speed advantage and the slight technical advantage. But if he falls into the brawl and is just looking to finish Josh Emmett quickly, I think that could be a mistake for him. Ilia Topuria does, again, I just don't think he has the best fight IQ, but I have to favor his skill set overall over Josh Emmett. I think he has the submission upside. I think he has the better kicks. While he doesn't have the better power, I think he strikes at better angles. He's quicker. He's got the better movement. It really is Ilia Topuria in this particular bout. It's just how is he going to win? I'm thinking a decision here. I think Emmett's smart enough to avoid any takedowns. I think he fights smart, gets in the clinch, makes it uncomfortable for Topuria, but just won't have the output necessary to, even though he does, land more strikes per minute, just doesn't have the accuracy. He's 37% striking accuracy to Topuria's 49. And I think that's going to be the crux, the crux, pun intended, crux. That's going to be the crux for Emmett, is that accuracy. Over time, that accuracy, you're using energy both in making your strikes and then absorbing them. And I think Ilia Topuria, it being a 5-round bout, that's going to be very interesting because I don't think Topuria has gone that far. Emmett has been in those big wars. He has been a headliner before. He has gone past 4 rounds, I believe. Yeah, Qatar was a 5-rounder. He lost did he lose in the championship rounds against Yair? Let's see here. Oops, let me go back here. No, that was round 2. Man, Yair did put it on him. Though, I mean, look at the significant strikes between Yair and Josh Emmett. Just in those rounds, 62 strikes to 22, right? Yair threw 143 strikes total compared to 72, and Yair landed 98 just compared to just Emmett landing 35. So his striking accuracy was just ridiculously poor, and that's what cost him. And I think that Yair, although a better striker than our guy here, I think that Topuria can do the same thing. Wear him down early, possibly getting that finish, and possibly even getting a submission. Like wearing him down, getting a submission late in the fight, like or at least at late round 3 or in the championship rounds. I think he's going to be more live for that submission. But I don't look for Topuria to knock him out and overpower him. I'm not. Topuria's power is in that speed. His hands are so quick that it's a quick punch where he could just stun you. I think that Emmett's chin will hold up, but his cardio may not, because the pace that Topuria is going to put on him, I think it's going to be very similar to Yair. And if Topuria fights technically, lands those strikes, wears Emmett down, makes Emmett miss. I remember that fight, Emmett missed so much, right? Like Yair countered him and made Emmett just wear down himself in his offense, and then wore him down by contacting him. And Topuria could have basically the same game plan, execute the same game plan. And I think Topuria is far better on the ground, far better wrestler and jiu-jitsu practitioner than Yair. So he's going to go to that jiu-jitsu, I think, later in the fight, or late in starting in round 2. He's going to hang in there in round 1. They're going to go toe-to-toe. You're going to see some fireworks in that round 1. It's going to be very exciting. But as that goes, it's not saying that Emmett has poor cardio. It's just the pace of that other fighters put on him that have equal cardio outmatch him and are put him in a vulnerable position. And that's why I have to favor Ilia Topuria in this, and then getting that title fight. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Oh, ashy. Getting the ashy legs. Again, only one person, 2 people in the chat. Anybody in there still? Hit the like and subscribe buttons, guys. Three people are watching. Participate in the chat. Let me know what you guys think of this fight. Is there something that you guys know, some information you guys want to contribute here? Be happy to hear it. Very nice. 8. Solid 8. In fact, 8 1/4. 8.25. I love its richness. I love it has this peaty earth tone to it. The little spice at the end, very nice little subtle, like I said, a little cinnamon spice or nutmeg at the very finish of the cigar. At the finish of the draw, after the draw, the finish is just excellent. Great construction, burning fantastically. Excellent tobacco, guys. Please go back, look at some of the cigar reviews that I've done before. I think all the cigars that I put in there, we can't go wrong with most all of the cigars that we've had on here. I mentioned that before. Fantastic. Even the beers and everything I've had before, you can't go wrong. Support your local breweries, support your local microbreweries, support your local cigar shop. I went to Norwood Park Cigars again, as opposed to going to Binny's, and that's going to be my go-to move from now on. Although Binny's gives me the opportunity to buy the craft beers, so that I can discuss the craft beers with you, and that's the big advantage of going to Binny's. But I like going. I didn't have the craft beer today because I went to my local guy. There is a liquor store next to there, but in my place too. But I just go and get the Modelo's, which has been my standard drinking beer lately. So Modelo's fine. There's a little iced tea right here from the cocktails, little iced tea, whatever you guys want to drink. Anything with a cigar is fine, guys. Sure, we could have a scotch. You could have a single malt. I brought back a nice 18-year-old bottle of Flor de Cano, which I'm going to show you guys a little bit. If you guys go to Nicaragua, Costa Rica, or even Mexico, like, and you find this 18-year-old rum, it's the rum to bring back. The other ones, you know, and same with it. There's a tequila that I'll show you that, you know, you want to get the better tequilas or things that you can't find here or that are going to be harder to find here. That's what you want to purchase. And you purchase what you like. Same with the cigars. Yeah, really nothing on this card that really strikes me as you know, a big, like, hey, this is a mismatch. This is what it, you know, this person's definitely taking this. I think a lot of these fights are going to be closer, including that Josh Emmett, Ilya Topuria. Josh Emmett could make this difficult. Like, Topuria is not that bright of a guy, and if he decides that he wants to brawl, it could be very interesting. I think Macy Barber, she's an opportunist. She really makes these fights real dirty. Like, it's always so close, even though I think, you know, she got away last time by Lee. Like, you don't really dominate her. You don't look fantastic fighting her, right? So that it could be a lot closer than you think. And it's another thing where Rivas is going to let her brawl, or maybe even is going to be willing to go on the ground with Barber. And what happens if she's reversed? I think that Rivas might have the better jiu-jitsu, but Barber even though Rivas has better, on paper, a better number in her wrestling, I think Barber could probably have a better top control game. So let's see what kind of fight IQ or game plan she implements in this. David Onama and Gabriel Santos. Again, Onama keeps this standing up on the feet, fights at distance. I think he gets this all day. Brendan Allen takes this guy down. He's got to take Bruno Silva down. He's not going to. Bruno Silva is a strong, big guy, just as big as Allen, and he can pop. And if Allen decides he wants to get in that phone booth and stay at Bruno Silva's range, he's going to get knocked the fuck out. So I think it's Bruno Silva by TKO or Allen by sub, and he could do it. I mean, Silva's jiu-jitsu game is not fantastic. Good get-up game, but not a good jiu-jitsu game. Allen's got to start wearing him down right away. Weather the storm round one, but closely. Implement, that clinch game. Get him on the fence. Bruno Silva on the fence. Avoid Silva's knees because Bruno Silva's very good knee, very good Muay Thai knee, very good Muay Thai style. And really, Allen's got to do a grapple-heavy game plan, just like Neo Magny, grapple-heavy game plan, and they're going to win outright, right? Randy Brown's going to be the opposite. Going to be a striking heavy game plan. Keep Wellington Thurman at his distance, keeping at that kicking range. Yes, Randy Brown has great jiu-jitsu himself. I think he could compete on the mat with Wellington Thurman, but he would be wise. Keep it on the feet, keep it at distance, and look for that opportunistic knockout. I think he could finish Wellington Thurman on the feet late in, like, round 2 or round 3. again, to have a really good card, guys. Like I like the matchup between Emmett and Taporia, Rebus, Barber. Love that. Do not like this Austin Lane versus Tafa. Do not like either guy. Let's see what number there. I like this Onama matchup. I like Allen and Silva as a matchup. I like the Phil Rowe Magny matchup. I like the Randy Brown Herman matchup. Those are all really good fights. And then Tabitha Ritchie Robertson, another good fight. I mean, there are like 6 really solid, decent fights on this card. This is gonna be a decent card, guys. I think we're gonna be surprised. What are the over under on finishes? I'm thinking there could be a finish 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This could be like, I think the over-under on this is at least 9.5 on finishes on this card. We're going to get a lot of finishes on this card. I think Rebus could finish Barber, not Barber finish Rebus. I think Josh or Ilya could finish, either one. Onama's going to get a finish. I think Allen or Silva is a finish match. Either guy could get a finish. Magny Roll, I think same thing. It's got to be a finish. And Magny does not want to hang around with Roll. I think he could eventually wear him down and get the submission, or else he's going to get knocked out by Roll. That's a finish fight. Randy Brown Thurman, same thing. Randy Brown TKO or decision, but he's a good finisher. And Thurman could get that opportunistic sub if he gets Randy Brown's back. Right, if he gets him to the ground, gets top game, Randy Brown's in a lot of trouble if Thurman gets on top of you. He's very heavy, so I think there could be a finish there. I think that there could be a finish in Ricci and Jillian Robertson. I think there could be a finish in Zumagolov versus Jan, because maybe Zumagolov and Trevor Peak definitely can get the finish against Mescal, right, in that fight. And so we have a very interesting card here. Smeagol with the parlay here, 20. They're both at dog money, right? I would be more concerned with that Josh Emmett side as opposed to the Barber side, because I think it's just better to take either one of them. Not not the $20 parlay, but I would put 20 on either at the money line, and then just throw a $10 parlay between the two is what I would do if I'm really thinking about that. If I'm actually seriously consider them as victors, because they are both dog money, take them on the money line and just put a small sprinkling on the parlay, for that extra juice, right? Bet them on the money line. You're getting already good. Josh Emmett, I think, is like plus 300, and I think Barber, I believe, was at plus 150. So what is that going to work out to in the parlay? I think the 20 is, you want to sprinkle something, but I'd rather sprinkle them on the money line. $10 each on the money line, and then $5 on the parlay. So it's like a $25 bet. I think you're better off that way. You know what I mean? It's like managing your bets. I don't mind. I like the parlay because it's dogs. I don't mind parlaying my dogs, and I do. But I take them on the straight line as well, on the money line, and then what do you got there? You got a piece of grass in your mouth. You got grass in your mouth. Get it out of your mouth. What other plays you got there, Phantom? Do you know anything about these lower end fighters, Phantom Smeagol, but some of the guys in the bottom of the cards? I didn't talk about Cody Brundage, and so let's look at that matchup. Cody Brundage versus Dumas. I mean, Brundage is so inconsistent. I don't know a lot. I mean, both coming off losses, with Brundage coming off 2 losses. I have to watch the film on Dumas. Just to recall who he is. I mean, losing to Josh Fremd is not a good look. friend, had 2 submission attempts, took him down pretty easily. Yeah, not really keen. I think it really, like some of these other, I have to do my research, guys, and I haven't, admittedly. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not trying to blow smoke up your ass. I blow smoke out in the air. Some of these other fights, like I didn't even. Oh, Tatsuro Tiata is fighting again. Is that the Japanese submission guy? I think so. But he's fighting Clydeson Rodriguez. Is that Tatsuro Tiata? He's the Japanese submission guy. Yeah, he's on this card. Yeah, well, you know what? We're betting there. I think I had Tiata by a sub. I think his sub, because last time out was only like his submission was like plus 110, and I bet it. Ridiculous, guys. I won it, but not the best line. And Clydeson, coming off a win off Sharon Ross, a KO. I think they're feeding this guy Clydeson to Tiara, that sub line. I bet. But you know what? I'm going to assume that Tatsuro Tiara's sub line is going to be like plus 100 or even money, right? He's probably a big favorite. I'm sorry I didn't get to these. I didn't see him at the way I had the layout. But Tiara all day. They're setting him up to be a star in Japan. Like they're really giving him favorable matchups, and I think he's just got such a good submission game, and he's got a chin. Man, this cigar is really good. Yeah, I went to 8.25. This thing might have to increase to 8.5. Very rich. Again, that peat is softer now. That sliced nutmeg, that slight spice, very soft. It's a peppery, but it's not super strong. Really, really good. Burning nicely, very cool. 8.5, guys. 8.5. What do you guys think? So, other play in the chat. Let me give another play. What's he doing there, Rio? Come on, buddy. Come on. Smeagol says he might bet money on, is it Dumas, he says? But I don't know. Hard fight to call. I like Pete fight not to go the distance. Yeah, I like that Pete not to go the distance either. But I like Pete doing the finishing there. I mean, this guy, I don't know a lot about Mariscal, but not liking the fact that he's like a 500 fighter. In a big show, like in a big arena, first time fighting in the UFC, always a challenge. But again, I haven't done the research to do it. I don't know what that number is. I tried to open it up here. I'm not going to fuck with the computer so much to get you that number. But if you get a good number, Smeagol, chase that good number. Like sometimes we are chasing a number, right? We have to figure out like what profit, what is it that we want to get out of our bet. Like if you only have the $20 to bet, out of all those options that you've discussed, what do you think you would do? Is the 20? If you only have $20, is the $20 on Barber on the money line the best play? Is the $20 on Emmett the best play? Do you split? Like I said, okay, you put $5 or $5 on the parlay, and then put the rest of the money on each Barber and Emmett on the money line, or do you bet just the fight, doesn't go the distance in that other fight, between Dumas that you were talking about. Look at like what is your best risk to reward, right? And yes, yes, it's good to chase the sure money if you think it's sure money, and none of it is. But if you are banking, or if you have a limited income and a limited bankroll, you really have to maximize what your profit is going to be. Because sometimes I'll say, okay, I'm only going to bet $100 this fight, and then I'll spread it around too much, and I'll get a profit out of it, but not much of one. Whereas if I just decided on that one bet that would have been the best bet that I did win, I would have made even more profit, and I would have lost the other ones, right? So it's like, it really is being smart with your money management, your bankroll management of not just what you're betting, but what your probable income is going to be coming out of it. Not just the outcome of the fight, but your income coming out of it. Like, I'd rather lose the $20 on, that $20 on Brendan Allen by sub. If the sub number is plus 600, they give me Brendan Allen by submission at plus 600, or the finish line at like plus 350. That might be my bet, right? I put the $20 on that. If that's the only bet that I, or that's all I'm betting with is $20. Pick the best bet that's going to give you the best profit. The best bet that you would probably bet, because you're going to bet on it anyways. You're going to put $5 on it. Put the $20 on it, and that's it. You don't bet anything else. You just watch the other events, and it's going to suck because you're like, oh, I wanted to bet that. But then if you just put $5 on it, it doesn't bet the same reward as it would be for that one good bet that you thought was a probable anyways, right? So we know we're looking at probable outcomes here. We're looking at finishes primarily, like, not to go the distance. Josh Emmett, Topuria, not to go the distance. Ribas and Barber. I think Ribas it can get a finish there, and I think Barber is strong, but there's a possible finish upside there. Big guys, Tafa, Lame. Tafa's not fantastic, doesn't have that finishing power, but these are heavyweights, low-level heavyweights. Low-level heavyweights tend to be pretty exciting, and that might actually go the distance, so I'm not certain on that one. But Onama's a finisher. Allen, Silva, finish there. Magny, Rowe, I think a finish there, either side. Brown, Thurman, I think a finish there, either side. Ricci, Robertson, I think a finish probable, even though it's a women's fight. Those two fights with Ribas, Barber, and Ricci, Robertson, I think those could be finishes, because Ribas is a finisher, Ricci is somewhat of a finisher, and Jillian Robertson's all finish, all sub or nothing. So, like, what is Jillian Robertson's sub line? That, if I had $20 and they give me Jillian Robertson by submission at plus 300, plus 330, that might be my only bet, right? Like, that might be rather, put the $100 on that and I roll with it. It's tough, but that's that's gambling, right? I'm going to look for my biggest return on my money. I'd rather break even, I want to break even or not lose. But I don't mind losing the $100 because that's the expendable income I decided, or the bankroll that I had to lose anyways. I'd rather maximize my gains for that probable, or for that amount of money. I know it may not make sense to a professional gambler. Be like, oh, that's really stupid, but that's what I'm going to do. I don't want to walk out. I want to double my money or more, right? I don't want to just make $10 on my $20 bet. I want to make the $40 on my $20 bet. That's just me. If I'm going to bet $20, I want to double up or more, or triple up. I'm not only trying to pick winners, I'm trying to make money, right? It isn't just picking the right things. It's like, Joey had some really good bets last week, like Macy Barber submission at plus 1,300. I didn't see that. I was busy doing work. But if I saw that bet, I saw that line, plus 1,300 Macy Barber. I mean, what's her name at the PFL scale? I'm like, that's a good-ass number. I'm like, that line is skewed, right? Look for skewed lines. If they offer Brendan Allen by submission plus 800 all day, jump on that shit. Jump on it. Like taking a look at the David Onama submission line, right? The guy can sub people. Like, I have to, if they offer me that plus 600, plus 800 on that Onama submission, that's a bet. They offer a Ribas submission line or finish line at over plus 300 or plus 400. I might jump on that. They offer Neil Magny submission plus 500 all day. I'll take that. I'll take the bigger number and risk it. I'll probably split Jillian Robertson, but like I always do, by the submission and her money line. She's still a dog. Crux. And Robertson might be my only play of the day. She's in a tough fight. Muscle Shark, Tabitha Ritchie's a tough girl. Better wrestling, but if she doesn't get a favorable position, and Jillian isn't fantastic off her back, but not horrible. And if she reverses Tabitha Ritchie gets careless and Jillian Robinson gets top, it's over. It's a wrap. If she can grab an arm, it's going to be over. I like Jillian Robertson's submission game. It's legit. So, but, you know, I don't have the numbers in front of me, but, you know, we're always looking at the numbers as well as the matchups. Picking winners and losers is not that hard, right? Picking how they win and when they win gets you the money. That's what pays you the money. How and when. Those prop bets are the ones that usually pay. We don't always like prop bets. I like prop bets. I prop out most of these fights. I've been betting props and betting almost fights for a few years now. But we're down. We're admittedly down. This has been a very bad year, guys. These guys make fun of me when I was in Costa Rica. I'm only, even though, I'm sipping smoke, about better. I'm 0-59 for the year or whatever. They're making fun of me. I haven't been winning very much. Still, we're talking about it. I'm not providing you the best of information. I'm just providing you my speculation on things and what outcomes can be. But, hopefully you find it entertaining. Please like and subscribe. Yeah, see, that's better, Smeagol. Yeah, that Tafa, he's not a finisher per se, but they're sort of feeding him. Like, for whatever reason, they want this Tafa guy to do well. Because I think I heard his father helped Dana White with the UFC in Australia or New Zealand, it was. I think in Australia, like his father, Justin Tafa's father, is some big guy in the promotion of MMA in Australia. So, in that whatever, I forgot what they call that part of the world. But he's somebody there that are up there sort of feeding him and giving him opportunities. So I think it's a setup fight for Tafa. And yeah, and then Alan Sub, I don't know what the line is, man, but if he goes in there again, and even the sub rounds 2 and 3, if you could find a sub, they'll have that prop like when it happens, because Alan's gonna have to slow Silva down a little bit. Silva's tough to beat that round 1, even by sub. The guy's still strong enough and can be savvy enough and just have enough defense that first round. You got to wear him down a little bit. You got to tire him a little bit before he's going to give up that sub. And Allen's, Silva is no wrestling, and Allen's wrestling is not fantastic, but he's all too willing to stand and trade with Bruno Silva, which is going to be a big fucking mistake. If he decides to stand and trade with Bruno Silva, Silva's going to knock him the fuck out. Like, stunningly devastating knockout. So Allen's got to be smart, close that distance, stay out of Silva's range, stay in the clinch, hopefully get that body lock, takes him down, stays on him, wears on him, doesn't go for the sub right away, just works that ground and pound, wear down his health meter, and then the second round, same thing. Do the same thing, wait for Bruno Silva to make a mistake and then go for the sub. Just control him. It can end up being an auto finish, and Brendan Allen could, if he's just grapple heavy and just wearing on him and lays and prays the whole fight, that's okay. I mean, you could, although the problem is that Allen's like a favorite. You don't get him at the dog money. I think Bruno Silva has a better upside as a bet. Bruno Silva on the money line and the TKO is actually probably a wiser bet, because Brendan Allen again doesn't have the best fight IQ. Right? He's gonna be hittable. He's going to be there that first round to be hit. He might even be there the second round to be hit. If he doesn't implement that grapple heavy game plan successfully, he's done. Silva will knock him out. And Silva can get that KO at any time. Allen somewhat could get the sub at any time, but not after he's been hit a lot. Not if Allen takes a lot of damage, he's going to be worn down to the point where he's going to be just vulnerable. He's got to close distance. He's got to clinch. Again, I haven't seen the number yet, Phantom, but we're looking for that right number, right? Let me know what you guys decide to do in the comment section. I'll respond in the comment section. Good luck on your bets this weekend. I'm certain you guys are going to do fine. Let me know what you guys are like, what parlay you might do. What is your prop bet in the comment section? I'll be happy to answer it. See if that's a good one. I'll respond. But a good card. I think this is a good card. I'd rate this a B plus B. Strong B to B plus of a card. Like one contender match, some really good matchups. Really good matchups. Up and down the card, some really good matchups. I would have to say the matchmaking in the UFC has been fabulous the past few weeks. They have done a fantastic job of making like really, really good matchups for good entertainment, good MMA. Like, what do you guys think is the over-under on finishes on this fight? I think there are going to be a lot of finishes, guys. I'm hoping for it. Does anybody offer action on that? On the over-under, on the total card? I would put it at 9. 9.5 if I were in Vegas, because that way you get away with stuff. Or is that too high? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 fights, 14 fights. So 9.5 makes sort of sense. You know, I know that Dana wants finishes. The UFC wants finishes, guys. Don't leave this shit to the hand of the judges. I'll tell you that once you look at last week, these weeks. Anything can happen. And I mean, that being said, like, how hard is it to finish some of these fighters in the UFC? These guys are just, it shows like any one of those strikes that these guys throw, somebody like myself, I'll be in the hospital. They hit me with just one strike. I'm bleeding. I'm gushing. I'm in the goddamn hospital immediately. And these guys take like fucking 50 strikes. Look at fucking Vittori last week. Holy shit, I would have been dead. If Cannonier hit me that much, or most people, including other low-level fighters, he would have killed somebody with that amount of strikes that he landed. How many strikes did he land? How many strikes did Cannonier land last week? That was just some ridiculous shit, man. Like, he almost killed Vittori. He beat the snot off of Vittori. Let's see here. Cannonier landed 58% of his strikes. He threw 428 strikes and landed 257 strikes. That's over 100 more strikes than Vittori, and that's Jared Cannonier strikes. He landed more takedowns, 4 of 6 takedowns. He had 3 minutes of control. That was Vittori's path, was the wrestling. Look at the significant strikes. 241 to 153, 411 strikes to the head. Cannonier landed 173 of 339 headshots. He landed 39 to 43 body shots. He outlegged him in kicking. Those kicks are ridiculous. He landed all 29 of 29 leg kicks. At distance, he landed 196 of 354, and in the clinch, he landed 26 of 31. And on the ground, Vittori had no ground strikes whatsoever. Cannonier had 20 of 26 strikes. Cannonier's accuracy in that fight was devastating. He landed 96% of his strikes by distance. The number and the metrics are just ridiculously in favor of Cannonier. I mean, I don't know if Vettori recovers from that beating. Getting hit by the gorilla, the killer gorilla, that much, that's like a life-altering beating that he got. Like Vettori just got beat. Like I don't think he could ever. He always complained about, oh, I won that fight or a close decision. Man, there was no close decision on that one. It was unanimous decision, right? Yep. In fact, he got a 45-49, 45-49, and 46-48. Just ridiculous. How many finishes there were last week? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 fights. I said this time we have 14 fights. I think I'm still right around that 8.5, 9 number. So I think I'm on par with what could probably happen. Let me know what you guys think in the comments section. We're still going on the sip and smoke here. Smoking cigars, talking MMA, talking gambling. Yeah, I didn't get the client working properly. Let's look at some of the numbers if I could get this up right now. Guys, if you made it this far, you are about better. I appreciate you sticking around this long. If you've made it this far, you are about better. Here we go. We got some numbers here. The props aren't up yet. Randy Brown is minus 250. I think they're deservedly so. Cody Brundage is minus 195. Jamal Evers is minus 215. And Magny is minus 175 against Phil Rowe. That should be a closer number. Robertson now is only a plus 104 underdog. And they don't have the submission prop there, but Richie and Tesoro Tiara is minus 270 against Kleidson, against Rodriguez Kleidson. Parlay piece, but I think I look at what that sub is going to be. I bet it's only going to be like plus 110. Tiara Tesoro sub is going to be like plus 110. Zumagulov is minus 200. Trevor Peak is even money against Jose Mariscal. That's interesting. I don't mind that. I think I'd have to take that Trevor Peak at that money line. Onama's dog money, guys, against Gabriel Santos. Gabriel, perdón. Barber's at that plus 155 still. Justin Taffa's minus 180. Emmett at almost plus. He was up at plus 300 before. Now he's down to plus 250. All right, so some money's coming in on him. Looking forward, I have out some lines here. Is Grant Dawson's a dog against Amir Ismagulov? Interesting. And Adriana Lipinski's a dog against Melissa Gatto. That's interesting too. We've got some very interesting fights coming up. And Abdul Razak Hassan is an underdog against Bruno Fiera. How is Fiera's wrestling? Because if he didn't got wrestling, he's going to get knocked out. Sean Strickland's a favorite against Abusian Magomedov. Dan Hooker against Jalen Turner. He's a dog. I like me some Jalen Turner. But man, and Bo Nickel minus 1,000 against Tristan Gore. And here's the bet of the you gotta bet on Duplessis. Like right now at plus 275. Whitaker's really good, but again, we're looking at that plus money number. You're getting almost 3-1 money on Duplessis, who should fight for the title. Moreno Pantoja at that dog money, plus 138. And Yair Rodriguez at that plus 330. Volk is minus 435. Man, I'm liking that Yair at that number at plus 330. Might have to take a little javelin, a little lottery ticket bet on Yair there. Again, we're looking at numbers. Stronger peat now on the finish. It's burning a little hotter. Stronger spice. So it's finishing a little bit more robust than some people may like. I still like that. I like it when it has that little strength and that kick at the end of the cigar. I prefer it to be smoother and almost softer. I prefer that. But I think it's all culminating. Like it had that richness, it had that peat already, it had that cinnamon, so it's just intensifying. Let me know your cigar recommendations in the comment section as well. I'll review any cigar that you guys mentioned. I picked this cigar because the owner of the cigar shop at Nowhere Park Cigars, recommended it. He was smoking it. He was outside the shop smoking with some clients, having a little smoker outside. Pushed or not, he enjoyed it. He's a very good cigar. I got to give it a try. Listen to the people that are better or that are working in their field, that are professionals in their field, or that are knowledgeable of their field. I feel I'm very competent on cigars, but even myself, I haven't had something before. Someone mentions a few of the flavor notes, mentions it's an excellent cigar. Of course, he doesn't like every fucking cigar in his shop. He's got like fucking over 300, 500 cigars in his fucking shop. He's not going to like everything, but he likes this one. I may not have the same palate or the same taste that he does, but I'm going to respect his opinion and purchase a cigar that he recommended. I'm going to do it. It's hard to keep lit right now. Let me get a beer before I light this back up, and we'll talk for another little moment, and then we're going to end this session. If you made it this far, you are about better. That's a real. We'll take you. One thing I would say about those like torch lighters, those butane torch lighters are fantastic to relight your cigars. I'll give you that. Some of you might ask or wonder like why I won't use a Zippo. And I don't recommend a Zippo, even though they're great lighters, they won't be put out by the wind. They're a fuel cigar, right? That fuel taints the taste of the cigar. That those fumes will actually become fused into the tobacco and will give a very negative taste to the cigars. So we won't use the cigar lighters like that fuel, that type of fuel. Butane's cleaner, unlike the other fuels, the Ronson fuels. Zippos, it'll get the job done, it'll get it lit, but it'll taint the flavor. So we tend to favor the butane lighters, and those torches are fantastic. They are really good. They eat up the fuel really quickly though. But you have a canister, keep a canister around. Great richness, heavy peat, heavy oils. I love the finish of this cigar. I like it when it's a little stronger like this. So 8.5 is the final on this cigar. The Crux. Not for an amateur, not for the new cigar newbie. It's a good cigar if you already have sort of a understanding or a flavor, a palate that can appreciate or wants something that's a little richer and that can appreciate the flavor set and the palette of the notes that it's going to offer. Fabulous wrapper. The wrapper on this cigar was really just spectacular. I don't know what the filler is. It was really well rolled. I could see how uniform it is on the roll here on the tip. I could see that it was rolled by a master, rolled by somebody really good. So Crux paid money, and that's why it costs what it costs, because they bought premium tobacco, and they paid for the roller. The roller, whoever rolled this cigar, I'm looking at it, it's a fabulously well-rolled cigar. Even though it's like burning differently, the draw is excellent. Love that heavy peat, that nice cinnamon finish. It's getting stronger in that finish. Some people may not like that. If you don't like it at this point, you can drop it. I try to smoke it all the way through until I can't smoke it anymore. I'm uncomfortable with it. I'll relight it like 1 or 2 more times. And you see the flinty there? That's the flint aspect of it. A little darker of a flint. Yeah, I just wonder about the caliber of the filler. Like if they put a spectacular wrapper over medium grade to good grade filler, that might have affected the bigger flavor of the cigar. I think it could have been better, but the wrapper was fantastic, and the wrapper is going to give us most of the flavor of the cigar. But the filler is just as important. It's very important as well. Excellent smoke, guys. Crux. Little higher in cost than what we're normally dealing with, but you get what you pay for, and it's good to try different stuff. Got to diversify, just like your wine or beer. Yes, Modelo is like my go-to, but I'll try different stuff. I'll try different cigars. I'll try different smokes. Diversity is a spice of life. It's what adds to our culture. It's what adds to enrich our lives, doing things differently, looking at other methodologies to be successful, methodologies to be happier. It's the same thing with our cigars. We're changing it up in order to just get something better out there. That's why it's mixed martial arts. right? Like if you are not diverse and have a like well-rounded skill set, like a Brendan Allen, like a Tabitha Ritchie, like a Ilya Taguria, you're not going to become a champion, right? You're not going to become a champion unless you can, diversify your fight abilities. Like that is what makes mixed martial arts the sport that it is that you have to put it all together, or you can maximize one of your skills over another, but you still have those others on tap if you need to go to it. That's why Ilya Taguria is so dangerous in that fight. Ribas, dangerous in that fight against Barber. I like me some Onama, dog money. Dog money, Onama. I bet we get some good money on that submission too with Onama. But Onama at plus 185, I got to do a little bit more research on his opponent. But again, Gabriel Santos. Let's see if no, I already went through Gabriel Santos. I mean, he lost to Lerone Murphy. Murphy controlled him. Actually, Lerone Murphy didn't control him. Outstruck him. Santos had more control time. He had more takedowns, and I think that's the weakness. I think they see Santos like getting those takedowns against our guy Onama. But let's see how Onama's takedown defense, which isn't fantastic, right? His takedown defense is only 45%, and that's the bet right there. That's why this guy here, Santos, is favored, because Onama's takedown defense is horrible, and he has a horrible game from his back. He's not going to submit you from the back, but if you can get top game, he's got a good top game, good control, great athleticism. I think you just got to keep this on the feet and just stay active, and I think he can take this. So that might be one of my dog plays. Another dog play right there is David Onama, and even by the finish. Hit like and subscribe. As always, if you made it this far, you are about better. I appreciate anybody that's hung out, that watches this content. Wish you guys the best. Please comment, like, and subscribe. Hit the comments. Put something in the comments. Let me comment on something. I'll hit you guys back up. Beautiful sunset out there. Birds are chirping nice. Beautiful day. Great weather. Hope things happen for you guys. Let me know what cigars you guys are smoking, what you guys are drinking out there. We're going to try to get to that Nashville card. This might be a little tough for me. I'm going to be in my vacation range at that point. I might make my vacation differently. I'm really aiming. I'd love to go to Asia, love to go to Indonesia, but it just might not not be in the card. So I might just go back to Costa Rica. We'll see. I had such a good time in Costa Rica, guys. Fantastic country, fantastic people, great food, great times, beautiful land. Like great coffee, great cigars. You get Cuban cigars out there. Great drinks. Great bars. You can spend as much or as little as money as you want. Just a fabulous country. Just so beautiful. Like it's stunningly beautiful, that country. Like if you guys get the opportunity to travel, Costa Rica, if you don't make it out to Mexico, it's great. If you're worried about Mexico, Costa Rica has a lot more stability. Yes, it has its downside. You're not going to be going to San Jose anyways. It's got its like negative aspect to it, but it's got just beautiful, beautiful people, beautiful land. Highly recommend it. Had a great time there. Just forget. It's just nice to be able to travel and be able to afford to travel is a privilege, which I appreciate greatly. Get your passports, guys. Get your passports. Make that time. Earn that extra money. You guys deserve it. Get out there. Go to these places and enjoy yourself. It's well worth every penny. Come back broke. It's all right. You'll make that money back. You'll make that money back. You'll spend it in a good experience, and you won't regret it. You won't regret it being in the ocean. You won't regret going on a horseback ride. You won't, regret being in some nice waterfalls. You won't regret going to a hot spring, right? Looking at gators, whatever it is that you enjoy. You could do far better than just the city life, the American culture life. Expose yourself to new opportunities, new people, and you'll be happier for it. Trust me, you'll be happier for it. More content in what it is that you do. You'll be rejuvenated. You'll feel stronger. All these pillows around me. These pillows are horrible. I feel like crap. Don't worry, I'll take you. Come on. Say hello to the people. I don't think my dog likes the cigar smoke. He likes beer, though. Right, Leo? Come on. Get on up there. Get on up there. Get on up there. Yeah. Boy. He's a good dog. Mm-hmm. Good dog. Be kind to your animals. Be kind to your friends, your coworkers. Enjoy yourself. Have a good cigar. Mm-hmm. Yeah, buddy. Yeah, we're gonna make some money, huh? Make some money, huh? Good wind. I bet there's some good waves someplace. Another beautiful summer's day, guys. Maximize this time. Don't complain about the weather, the heat. Get on out there. Take a bike ride. Take a walk. Sit outside. Take your computer outside. Take your laptop outside. Just sit outside and enjoy the day. We're here in Chicago where we have harsh winters and stuff like that. It's always a privilege. Always nice to sit out here and just relax. You guys got to do the same. Just chill out. Smell the air. Listen to the birds. Pet your dog. Life is good, and life is what you make it. Even if you don't have anything, you don't have any money, you can find a way to enjoy yourself in life. Whether it's through music, whether it's through dance, whether it's through your art, whether it's through meeting new people, like I said, going for a bike ride, grabbing your skateboard, going for a swim, find out what's nice in your area, like what is the benefit of where you live at, and take advantage of it. It's not just tourist stuff. Tourists go there for a reason. You go and visit that, the Bean. If you live in Chicago, if you live in Philadelphia, go and get a cheesesteak. Go to the Rocky Steps. Grab a couple steps and pretend you're Rocky. Why not? Go to Atlanta. Go to Miami. Go look at the Versace home. Go to the beach. Go to a fancy restaurant one day, just one day. Nice restaurant. Splurge on it. Go to Oregon and go to the river, Hood River, and just bathe in the river for a day. Go to Seattle, Washington. Go to the Needle. Go to the Jimi Hendrix Museum. Go to the market there and eat some lunch at the market over there in Seattle. Go to Pier 39 over there in San Francisco, right? Go to the Golden Gate Bridge, take a view of the Golden Gate Bridge, take a picture of yourself. Take that little boat trip around Alcatraz or whatever. Go to New York. Go to a little bodega. Have yourself a bean pie sandwich, a little Jamaican empanada. Right? Don't be afraid to step out of your norm. Yeah, it's going to cost a little money, but you could make it. You could do it. Work hard. Take your little vacation time. Get on out there. Explore the world a little bit. Make some smart bets this week and it'll pay for it. Bank that money. Don't bet next week. Grab your profit. Bank it. Take that profit. Stay with your bankroll, whatever your bankroll. If it's $100, you made $100. Keep that $100 for your vacation. Right? Bank it. Bank your profit. Keep your profit. I flip my profit, unfortunately. I get more aggressive when I have my profit. And that's a big mistake. Don't always do that. Make a plan for that money. Make a plan for your betting. Be strategic about it. It is a strategy, right? You have to manage that bankroll properly, and when you make money, you have to bank that profit. Keep that profit for something else. Don't just splurge it on. So I'm going to eat out 3 days this next week. Oh, it's okay. I made $200 in betting. I could eat out every day. No, buy some lunch meat and some bread, and make some sandwiches to go to work with. That's what you got to do. You don't drink it all away. It's like, don't drink it away. Don't buy a bottle of booze. Oh, I want some money. I'm going to buy this Jimmy Walker. I want to buy that expensive bottle of cognac or, something like that. Oh, don't worry, man. It's okay. All right, buddy. Appreciate the time that you have, even with your pet. He likes to hang out with you. He wants his pet. You like that little buddy? Yeah, you're a good boy. Appreciate those small things. Appreciate that small time, and I appreciate you guys. We're staying at the 8.5, guys. Even though we're smoking it to a nub, flavors are still excellent. Very rich. That strong peat, that earthiness. That's when you know you have a good cigar, that it has that land-rich taste. The wrapper again on this cigar. This is the Crux cigar, and I got it at Norwood Park Cigars here in Norwood Park in Chicago. Fabulous shop. If you come to Chicago, go to that shop. He's got a fantastic cigar collection. Selection, I should say. Not a collection, it's a selection. They're not there to to be just looked at. He's got some fabulous cigars. He's got a bunch of them, boxes of stuff that, if you buy by the box, you could ask them. You go to a cigar shop, like, oh, you like a certain cigars? Do you have a box of these? How long have you had it? The older, the better. He's like, oh, I got this and this one. He could check it for you. He has a serial code on it. He can tell you when he got that box of cigars. Buy the older one, or the one that you liked, the one that you had, like, because sometimes the older isn't better. Like, the cigars vary. It's a consumable product. It changes from box to box, from time to time that they acquired it. Like, certain, like, just varietals and vintages of wine. Certain wine from a certain year is better than another year from the same place, right? It's the same with the cigar. Like, so if you tried that cigar and you like that cigar, maybe you get the box from that same. You're like, okay, maybe he can look it up. I don't know if he can. Some places do. If they have a cigar club, or if they want your information, feel free to share your information so that when you're making a purchase, he has a record like, oh, you had this cigar. It's from this particular box. This is what you had before. And that could help you in getting the, a better or similar, smoke in the future. Like, you say, oh, you had this, but also from this box, I have another that box that was from that same delivery and from that same time frame. So let me get that box. Yeah, I smoke them down even to this, even more. As long as I can hold it and smoke it, love the richness of it. Love when it gets to this far. It still stays an 8.5 because it's not. It has elements of tasting notes that I do really enjoy. It's not as delicious as I want it to be, right? So I can't give it. It can't be in that 9 club. Like, look back at, like, the cigars that I put in the 9 club. They're the ones that hit areas and hit notes that I prefer myself the best, but you're going to have your own taste. But this being an 8.5 is still up there, guys. 8.5 is not a shitty cigar. It's not like, maybe this is a 10 to you. Maybe it isn't. Maybe it's less, but it's still a very fine cigar. Again, we're in that $18 range, which is a little high, but listen to your cigar, the guy in the humidor. Tell them what you want. Tell them what you like about cigars. Say, hey, I like a milder cigar. I like a creamier cigar. I want it to have that earthy taste. I want it to have a leather taste. I want something with a little more spice. I want something with a lot of sweetness to it, right? And then listen to what they recommend for you, and take their recommendation. Like, they spend the time in the humidor. The guy, for example, today was smoking this cigar, right? Was he making a sale? Yes, but at the same time, I trust his expertise because he's involved in that business. He's smoking the cigar. He sells the cigar. Does he need to make a push for it? Is he probably trying to move that inventory or get people on it, help himself out, help the distributors on? Yes, but at the same time, I have to trust in his expertise, just like you guys trust all the other people and the cappers out here. You've been listening to us for a few years now. You guys have been following me. You know sort of like where I stand, where I lean towards certain bets and certain aspects of what I'm doing gambling-wise and what I'm doing in my picks, that you're going to be familiar with me, and so I appreciate that. Although we've been losing, we're still happy with the bets that I've made. Last week I actually made a small profit, nothing great, but I didn't give you those bets. And this isn't that necessarily that kind of channel where we're going to give you. It is, but lately I've been following more on the cigar smoking, the beer, just discussing MMA. But we still are a gambling, money making, emphasized channel, but with a strong emphasis on enjoying other aspects of our lives, primarily the cigars and the libations, beers. I may break out that for the kind of rum with you guys at some point. Maybe also do a little wine review with you guys. Watches, right? Do little, you can see the watches. Always discuss the watches as well. I love this watch. It's a little small, but I love it. I just got it, had it back. It's running really well now, and now when I look at it and I wear it, I love it because it's unique. It has Roman numerals, that beautiful white dial, the gold accents. It's not a chronograph. Those are the month, date, and day, and with the moon phase on it, and it's running well. All in a smaller face. It's only a 36 millimeter dial, which is a little small. Like it almost could be a woman's watch, but still fabulous. Still just a beautiful timepiece. I appreciate its construction. I appreciate its design. I also appreciate that it's Dunhill. I used to work for them, so I had this as a keepsake from that era when I worked at Dunhill. It's a vintage watch now. I wouldn't sell it. I think I could get like $500 for this watch. This is what I would sell it for, and I wouldn't sell it because in 10 years it's going to be worth even more. You're not going to be able to find this watch. $8.7, guys, $8.7. Got to give it a couple more points because it's lasting this long. It's still smoking rather well. The draw is fantastic, and I think the filler is what threw this cigar off. They put an ultra premium wrapper on it, and the filler is probably not as par because I look at the colors on it. It's placating. The way it placates, I'm not particularly happy with, but still good. It's again, it goes back to that flinty flavor, and I taste that flinty flavor. I don't know what the binder was. I'm pretty certain it was a Nicaraguan cigar. Cigars now, guys, you don't have to have that Cuban cigar to get that Cuban flavor, to get that Cuban type smoke. So much diversity out there in cigars. Let me know what you guys are tasting out there. But I appreciate everybody out there. I'm going to quit the stream now. You guys are about betters. My dog's name is Rio, like Duran Duran, like the Rio Grande. I call him Rio Grande. He's really old. He's like 15 years old. He's got glaucoma in one of his eyes, really bad. So he can't see out of one of his eyes. But now he's a lot more docile. He used to be a little mean of a dog. He's bit me a couple times, bit a bunch of other people. That's because you fuck with them, and you get, don't fuck with dogs. Let a sleeping dog sleep, and don't mess with the dogs. But it's Rio. I think he was named after the movie Rio. I like to say it's the Duran Duran song. I like that Duran. I like Duran Duran, period. But he's a good boy. He's a good dog. Very loyal. Loves to be walked. Loves to play still. Loves to run. Not much of a hunting dog. Horrible. If he were a hunting dog, he'd be horrible. Not the worst. Guard dog, a lot worse lately because of his eyes, but he doesn't bark a ton. No, I don't have a cat. I used to love cats. I'm allergic to cats. I'm allergic to some dogs too. But I love cats as well. Cats are cool. Pets are nice. Pets calm you. Pets stabilize you. If you don't have kids, get a dog. Get a cat. They'll provide you with a lot of love, a lot of attention, a lot of fun. Play with them. Enjoyable. But no, I don't have a cat anymore. I have my neighbor's cat down the street, which is an awesome cat. Old cat that hangs out. She's the queen of the streets out here. Been here forever. But yeah, Rio's good dog. Good dog, huh, Rio? Sorry. Good boy. Are you a good boy? You're a good boy. I don't think he likes to smoke too much. I gotta take him for a walk here in a little bit. Yeah, you gotta get a walk or you go to a little poopy. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You gotta go poopy. Yeah, now he's gonna want to go poopy now. He got excited when I mentioned the poopy. Hmm. Bigfoot, I saw you on Ronja's show. I'm glad you're breaking out and getting time to be with the fellas. I think that's awesome. Good on you for that, man. I'm in my backyard. I'm in Chicago. I'm back in Chicago. I'll be someplace next month. Either in Costa Rica or in Indonesia is the goal. But I'm in Chicago. You guys, if you're in Chicago, hit me up. I'll take you to lunch. We'll go have lunch. We'll have some beers. We'll have a cigar. We'll talk MMA. Maybe you come live. Come to the backyard and chill out here. I'm a friendly guy. Good host. But yeah, come on through, Bigfoot. I'm here in Illinois. My family's over there in Gurnee. Maybe I come out to you. Yeah, man. No problem, brother. Doors always open. Door is always open. I'm legit. The invitation's legit. I appreciate you always participating on my channel. Always leaving your Iceman. Who's the Iceman in this fight? Bigfoot. Who do you like? Because they're cold as ice. Who's cold as ice on this card? Who's the Illinois Bigfoot pick? Before we leave, let's get that last comment. Let's Illinois Bigfoot's pick right now. Who's cold as ice? Because they like the Iceman. Tell me. You made it. Yeah, I thought he was Iceman, man, but he got mollywopped. Jesus, did he get destroyed? Cannoneer embarrassed him. Cannoneer beat the snot out of him, literally. Like, I think Cannoneer might have ended Vittori's career in that fight. Oh, there he goes. There's the pick. Amanda Ribas, because she's cold as ice during the face-offs, like the Iceman. All right. I like that pick. I like Ribas. I think that she's deservedly of the favorite number, but Macy Barber wins ugly. She's the queen of these crazy bad decisions, winning ugly. But yeah, I would say that Ribas has the upside all the way around because she's not going to be afraid to go to the ground with Barber. She might have the better jiu-jitsu, and I think she's a cleaner striker. She's going to be faster. So I might have to agree with you on that. And Barber isn't at that big plus money any longer. So avoiding her maybe on the bet might be the call. But there's not really a lot of money to be made unless maybe Ribas by finish, which I think is going to be tough. But I think she could do it. Ribas is a warrior. That she's legit. Like, she's like Cowboy Cerrone, like one of those great fighters that could be champion, just is never got there. Like, she is championship caliber. She's definitely top 5, top 3 in the division, and just will always be there. Just knocking at the door constantly, but never really putting it all together to get that championship. But maybe this could change for her. If she beats Barber, maybe she calls out and gets that, an opportunity to fight for a belt, because she definitely is one of the top tier fighters of that division of the women's fighting period. Overall, women fighters, pound for pound, she's one of the best. Not bad. That's why it's 8.75, not quite 9. Burns really well still. Great flavors. excellent cigar. Again, listen to your cigar salesperson. Support your local cigar shop. Support your local liquor store. I like Benny's. I got nothing wrong with Benny's. Benny's got great quality, great stuff. But if you could develop a rapport with your local cigar person, they're going to help you out. They're going to steer you to new product. They might bring out something from the back that isn't on the shelves yet, right? Or that's something that's on the shelf that once they learn of what your palate is and what your price range is and what you enjoy, they'll be like, hey, how about this? How about that? My guy is very standoffish. He knows I'm a cigar professional, so he lets me decide what I want, right? He knows that I'm going to pick and choose and I want to try some other things. So he doesn't like force anything. He didn't even force this cigar on me. He recommended it. I'm happy for his recommendation. I trust his recommendation. That creates a relationship between him and me, and it strengthens. So next time I go, there's something that he recommends, I'm going to try it out and bring that to you, like we did today with this Crux. Not a bad cigar at all. A little higher price point that I want for my viewers and for people that are at our sort of status level. $20 cigar. Not everybody could afford a $20 cigar. Right? And you don't have to spend that kind of money to get a good smoke. And I've demonstrated that. But sometimes you get what you pay for. A little bit more of a premium cigar than that we would normally have, but you got to change things up. Diversity, guys, diversity. Respect and honor diversity. Notice I didn't punch out the cigar. I'm done with the cigar. I put it in the ashtray, let it burn out, let it sit with the way it is. Don't crush it out. Let it be. It'll go out itself. And what I do is I throw the cigars in my garden. So I throw my coffee grinds in my garden. I throw my cigars in my garden. I just throw it out over there and let it sort of go back to the earth where it came from. That's what I do with my people ask, like, oh, do you throw away the cigar butts or you throw them down the toilet or whatever? No. Throw them in my garden and they add sort of compost. They become compost in the cigar because it's a natural product. Goes back to where it came from, makes my soil richer, makes it healthier, and eventually I'll have even more and more great flowers and great plants that come out. Yeah, let me show you guys before I go offline here. Let's go visit the garden. Here's the garden, guys. Little beautiful little plants, right? Little plants. Look at my flowers. I planted all these. They're doing really well, right? I share this with my neighbor. Thankfully, she lets me share this space with her. You see the coffee grounds over there? You see the coffee grounds and the tobacco? See a cigar down there? Right? So there's some basil. Here's my basil. My rosemary isn't doing that great, but that's okay. We'll let it go. Let it go. But yeah, that's the garden, or at least part of the garden that I've been growing. Very simple. Those plants were reclaimed plants. Somebody threw those away, right, in those pots. I kept them and tried to revitalize them, and they're doing okay. So eventually I will plant those as well. So, guys, if you've made it this far, you are about better. I appreciate all your participation. Please hit like and subscribe. Thank you very much. And good luck on all your bets.